producer Jennifer Malik couldn't be here today. She had an exam she couldn't get out of. So it's just going to be me, but I'm really excited to show you guys what we have so far. So Cole is a 2D action-adventure game with some unique acrobatic touch controls and a rich, darkly humorous narrative. We've been building it in Unity and running it on our Android phones, and we'll probably continue that in advance. And yeah, we've been working on the prototype for about a month and a half or so, and we're going to show you some footage. So Cole, this is the title screen. Cole takes place on the SS spaceship. You are a creature that's been genetically created and engineered for one purpose, to shovel coal into the furnace that powers the SS spaceship. So you're one of these countless identical creatures. You see, you move with the left and right buttons here. This is where we're learning the basic controls. You tap the screen to kind of whack your shovel. You tap again to interact with whatever is near you. And if you swipe, you kind of jump in the direction opposite of your swipe. You can think of it as like a spring that you're pressing, and when you release it, it goes off in that direction and pulls you. So the game begins in this coal shoveling sequence. You're told to coal. And you have to march rank and file. The idea is that you come over here, you get some coal, you walk over here, you throw it in the furnace, and you start all over. And it gradually gets faster and faster, and if you bump into any of these other guys, you get zapped. And that's the entire game. There's no more to it than that. That's everything. Unless you get curious about this grate over here. The game doesn't draw your attention to it, but if you're curious and you hit it with your shovel, you can begin exploring the SS spaceship. It'll look a little more spaceshipy once we get someone doing the art who isn't me. But as you can see, we're exploring, we're using our acrobatic touch controls. There's a big fan. So if you swipe parallel to a wall, you'll begin running up the wall. If you swipe parallel to the ceiling, you can start running on the ceiling. And you can imagine the complex combinations of these that you can create. And so a big part of the game will be using these acrobatic maneuvers to kind of explore the ship, get to new areas, set a goal for yourself, and try to figure out the environmental puzzles, how to get up there. Another big part of the game will be combat. There are these robot guards chasing you. They want to put you back in the slave hole. So you can kind of hit them with your shovel, and then you, as their dead, murdered bodies kind of sinking to the ground, jump off them toward the other enemies. And stringing together these airborne combo chains is going to be a big part of the gameplay. As you can see, they fall, and when they hit the ground, they explode. As you explore the SS spaceship, you'll run into several other creatures who've also escaped that little coal room. And each one will have their own different personalities, and each one will react differently to you kind of bursting in on their little hideaway where they're hiding away and fending for themselves. Some might not trust you, some might outright attack you when you burst into their little camp. Others might talk with you, tell you their story. Others might give you bad advice, try to manipulate you in some way that benefits them. But it's through talking to these different creatures that you'll learn that no one really knows where the SS spaceship is going or why it's going there. Everyone is pretty, they're confused, they're lost, they're frightened, much like this stock photo of an old man struggling. And you'll also learn through talking to these people that the captain of the ship is believed to reside at the top of the ship, so you'll always have this overarching goal of traveling upwards to confront the captain of this ship. And there's also a survival element to it. You will need to continually find food and eat it to continue to not die of starvation. And yes, we need to eat food, much like this stock photo of 3 raw hot dogs. And each of these little coal creatures and their little hideaway encampment that you'll come across in the ship, they'll each have their own little reserve of food, and you will always have the choice whether to just outright murder them and take their food, or try and talk with them, get to know them as a person. So you'll always have that option to either kill them like the gun or be nonviolent like this hippie. And if you decide not to kill them and take all their food, and you talk to them, depending on what kind of person they are, they might give you some food, certainly not their whole stash, but enough to let you live for a while. And yeah, there'll be all kinds of different people that you'll run into. And whether or not you choose to be this violent gun or this peaceful hippie, the game, there's no morality meter that gets checked either way. Depending on your choices, the game doesn't judge you. Either way is a valid way to get to the end of the game. And that's just kind of my response to a lot of these games these days that have these morality systems that determine the ending. I personally believe that there's no real objective morality to life. So you shouldn't act compassionately just to get the good ending in the game or life. There are many innate rewards of compassion, and that's kind of what this game tries to communicate. I'm not necessarily trying to move the medium forward with structuring the NPC encounters this way. It's kind of just trying to reflect my personal understanding of life, which to me is what the purpose of art. So going on, some goals we have in the game is to create a smart, immediately intuitive control system that allows for harrowing acrobatic maneuvers with just a few simple swipes. We're also trying to seamlessly marry some addictive, viscerally satisfying, captivating action gameplay and a meaningful narrative with some psychological themes. We feel like a lot of the action games that we like to play, while really fun, they kind of often shove the narrative down your throat with really graceless cutscenes, or they just avoid narrative entirely, and we want to find some balance there. We're also looking to create a highly polished 60 to 90 minutes of gameplay that we could potentially release on the Play or App Store. And you can imagine with this basic framework of gameplay ideas I've presented so far, there's a lot of variety we could tease out of that. Imagine a scene where this huge enemy is chasing you, and it's like an endless runner sequence with these platforms that are whizzing by, and you have to react to them quickly so you don't fall and be eaten by the big thing. You can imagine just a huge enemy that spews out tinier enemies, and you kind of have to bounce off them to get to the top of the big enemy. Maybe the big enemy's made of platforms themselves that you run up, kind of Shadow of the Colossus style. You can imagine the scene where you're jettisoned out of the SS spaceship, and using the kind of precision directional jumping system we have, you jump from asteroid to asteroid, try to get back into the SS spaceship. So the team so far, we have our programming lead, Isaac Steele. He's a senior in the computer science games division. He's currently a programmer on Homeward, an advanced games project that's currently wrapping up this semester. Our producer is Jennifer Mallet. She's a senior double majoring in business and interactive entertainment, and she's currently a production intern at Activision, so we're really happy to have her. And then there's me, the creative lead, Alan Wagner. I'm also the writer of this game. I'm a senior double majoring in film production and interactive entertainment, and I've written and directed a lot of short films that have gotten into festivals and won some awards. And more. That's not all of us. We have Will Hellworth, the director of Homeward. He's come on in a design position. And we have a musician that I've worked with my short films. We have an artist and some more designers. So we're looking to recruit over the summer. Also over the summer, we're going to iterate on our control scheme. We know it could use some refining, but it's come a long way since we've started. We know how we want it to feel, and we've been making strides toward that, and we will continue that. We also want to completely plot out the game, strip out all these dialogue trees, and draft up kind of a extensive, detailed production plan, so when we get there on day one, we know where we're going. Alright, so the sound isn't working on this, but I know you might be asking me, Alan Wagner, creative lead on Cole, how could you ever market this game that is essentially the entirety of the game is like an Easter egg, and you don't want to spoil that? How can you get people interested in your game? So yesterday we kind of shot this little promotional video. I'm going to try to hold the microphone to the computer as the sound plays, and we'll see how it works.
Is your life monotonous?
Yes.
How about routine?
Yeah.
Well, meet Cole, the perfect companion to the Game Cole can play as an alien square. Bring Cole from one side of the room to the other, then start all over.
That's it. Thank you. Yes?
I have a few questions.
Mhm.
So, it seems like right now you only have one engineer, and you've accomplished a lot with one engineer. So like, scope actually, interestingly enough, in Final Games goes two ways. There's too much scope and too little scope. Are you worried at all that like your game's not big enough to actually fill up the entire Final Games year? I mean, let's say the minimum team size you can have is 10. It's about the smallest we've ever had a team, and those are actually 2 of the mobile games that we've made. And the smallest number of engineers you've ever had is 5. Like, do you think you actually have enough work here for 5 engineers to not be bored, like, throughout the rest of the year?
Well, we do want to work on this to a high level of polish, and we want to build it out to create a great variety of experiences for the player. So, I mean, I do think so. I hope so. We're allowing overlap. We want some overlap in the duties. So if the engineer wants to design something that he wants to implement in the game, I'm certainly open to hearing his ideas. And and I think I haven't worked extensively with mobile development, but I know a big thing will be kind of optimization, and it's kind of like a really old computer almost that fits in your pocket. So I know we won't be able to do necessarily everything we want and have a high performance. So I imagine that will be part of it.
Okay, yeah, it's just something to be conscious of. And the second thing, just a really quick question, is so like the normal definition of a game is a series of meaningful choices. So it sounds like you've created a structure where your game has a series of meaningless choices. So it's just a good choice.
Well, I mean, we want to. we want to design it so you have that choice of whether to almost avoid everyone or kill everyone or kind of befriend everyone, and we want to design it so it's a more enriching experience if you play it kind of compassionately. I mean, you might get advice from someone of some area you wouldn't find out, or you might join up with you and help you fight or something. In life you have that choice whether to be an asshole and just get direct satisfaction out of people, or act more compassionately, and that's something we want to try and communicate.
So following up on that, I just want to get some clarity.
Mhm.
Are the choices that you make, do they have any implications in the world at all?
We're thinking some story beats, may or may not happen, whether or not you've killed someone, and they won't be able to participate in that kind of story beat. That might trigger some kind of set piece. And you're also surviving. If you do kill people, you'll be able to survive longer. You'll get more food, and so that's a consequence of your choices.
Okay, and my second question is, so you showed us a video of this kind of action platform where you go around smashing stuff and shoveling coal or whatnot, and then you started going off talking about some kind of an RPG style thing where you befriend people and you make social choices and that kind of stuff, but you didn't quite show how those kind of come together. And so I get kind of a confusing identity crisis here.
We are kind of trying to meld a lot of things. There's the exploration, there's action, and there's survival element and the social element. And
so what I was looking for is some explanation of how you were planning to meld those things together and how you plan to make it cohesive.
It doesn't seem to cohere for you right now. All those things. I'm not sure. We'll work over the summer. I mean, our designers will all be in town, and we're all interested in this project and passionate about it, and we'll be working on it. And we realize we're juggling kind of a few genres here, and we'll try to meld them all together.
Yeah. I'm going to jump in and ask a question now.
Mm-hmm.
So Alan, related to the second questioner and sort of in contrast to the first person, I actually think this project has the potential to be way overscoped. You're talking about doing a lot of different things inside the design space. So while you may not need hours and hours and hours of engineering talent, you need a ton of design prototyping, you need a lot of early design work figured out how these systems interrelate, if they interrelate, and how they work together to create a wide, explorable open world that you want to take a full 90 minutes to navigate through. So have you guys, I know you said that you're going to build a production plan on the summer, but have you thought seriously about how you're going to sort of, almost in a burn down chart style way, break out the tasks, look at which things are which, and decide over the summer what's going to be achievable inside of the time that you have available to you? And sort of related to that, have you thought about what is the core play or interaction mechanics that you really want to see, so that you know what you have to get done first and then can see what fits with it? I think the project sounds super, super, super exciting, but some of that is very blue sky, and it's going to take a lot of design and testing work to figure out what is achievable in this time.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, we've definitely been receiving some mixed messages. People are telling us we're underscoped, overscoped. We will want to talk to the professors to like understand what they believe is feasible, and we'll talk amongst ourselves. Yeah, and the core experience, a lot of it, I feel like is kind of exploring this massive ship and kind of uncovering the narrative and like soaking in that atmosphere. I feel like that will be largely the core of it. And yeah, I agree. We all know scope is important, and we're having conversations about it, and we're not sure, like, we don't have a great context for what is feasible, but we're working toward figuring that out.
Thank you.
Thank you.